Down by 2, now they're out of timeouts.
Down by 2, 1.3 left. Down 2, gets a shot off.
Down by 2.
Well, hi. How have you been? This is another episode of the Down by 2 podcast, the final episode of the season, of the year of 2023. Call it a New Year's Eve edition, if you will. It's your host, Josh Elijah, a little bit under the weather again for like the 12th time this year. But that's okay because I got my better half, my co-host, Jesse McKay, a.k.a. Birdman.
Well,
how you
hi
doing?
there.
Well, hi.
Howdy.
How are you, man? Good to see you.
Yeah, I'm good. A little bit of a scene switch up here.
Yeah.
At the ladies'
Going
house.
remote.
So, yeah, recording remote today.
From Stephanie's Studios.
Yeah, the old Steph Studios. Glad to be here. It's the last one of the year, man. Another year in the books, man. It's crazy.
Another year in the books. I'm limping on this one. I'm like just drinking this disgusting ginger concoction. The magic elixir.
Yeah.
Oh.
Did you put honey in that?
No honey.
Oh man.
Didn't go honey because we went orange and ginger with a random tea bag and and turmeric. So there's a lot going, and some apple cider vinegar. So there's a whole
getting
lot
a random
tea
bag is never good, but it might be in this case.
It's even the worst when you're under the weather. But
getting a random tea bag when you're under the weather,
not the way you want to end the year. But man, how were the holidays? How was your Christmas? How was everything?
It was good. It was very, very low key, chill. Just hung at home and then visited with the fam, like my cousins, my aunts and stuff on Boxing Day, and had the turkey dinner and the stuffing and all that good stuff, all the desserts. Just ate till I almost puked.
Let me ask you this because like, what is the goat dish of Christmas dinner? What is the goat dish when it comes to because usually like you go turkey, and like, is it the turkey that always steals the show, or is it one of the other side dishes?
No, because turkey can disappoint very easily. You know what I mean? Like it can be dry, it can be overcooked. But like the way
not when my wife does it.
The way we do our turkey is they cut everything off.
Picking my nose,
and then they put it in the oven with the gravy and let it sit there until it's ready to be served. So it's like marinating in the gravy, and it almost like turns into like when you get like a brisket or a pulled pork, and it's cooked to that point where it's like it's solid, but if you like put a fork through it, it just kind of like disintegrates like that. That's how our turkey turns out, and it's like mixed with the gravy, so it's
already
good. You get one of those like brioche buns that you get at the table, and you just make yourself a little sandwich.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that we might have to try that for like even part of it. Like if you want to have more of like the just regular dark meat or light meat on the side with cranberry sauce too, like you can take that route, but then you could also have the turkey that's covered already in the gravy. So,
well, you can still add the cranberry after if you want.
Yeah.
It's like pre-mixed for you.
Mix it or keep it separated. I like that. I like that because we took our first stab at a big bird this year, and it turned out great. Yeah, I mean, Amanda really brought it all home, but it's all about the butter placement and the arrangement and making sure that it's nice and dry going in, because you don't want it to be too moist. You got to dab it down a bit and then put it in the oven so that you just get that crispy exterior, and just make sure that you're not overcooking it too, and you baste and
you gotta baste it.
You gotta baste
that bad boy. I would say though the goat for me personally is probably stuffing.
Let's go.
Like stuffing's my jam, bro. Like it doesn't matter if it's like the kind of stuffing where it's like just bread and like garlic, or some people put like pieces of apple in there.
Oh yeah.
You can get the celery, the carrots in there, the garlic. Some people even put like ground beef in theirs. Like you can do so many different kinds, and none of them are bad in my opinion. It's all
Wow.
good.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you on stuffing as well because there's a lot of versatility behind it. Brad actually, Master Aldworth, introduced us to his this side dish that has been crushing this holiday season, which is braised leeks. And
Oh,
oh, buddy, that's just risen right up to the top to goat contention.
oh,
We got the direct recipe from him. We've been cooking it, and it's fucking fire. It is really really good. So I'm putting that up
damn.
there in close contention. But braised leeks, ask a Brad about a braised leek, and he'll tell you all about it.
I would love to, but
We'll have to get him on next week then.
yeah,
Well, he's probably making some right now.
yeah, he might be.
He might be braising a leak or two. But yeah, no, it's yeah, Christmas is the holidays have just like you went low key. I'm high key. It's been a lot. There's really never any time to just relax and not do anything. There's always something to do. Christmas is at different families' places and what have you. Um, but I love it. It's fantastic. It's just nice to actually have a couple days and recuperate and recharge a little bit. There's one thing that I did figure out is that I need to get into dad shape. I need to prepare myself physically, like whether or not we have kids, but just like to hang out with the nieces and nephews in general. Like I need to get in better dad shape. Like we were
Mm,
hanging out with Amanda's McClung side of the family, and they got like nieces and nephew, or they got the nephews. They got Michael and Chase, great kids. Love playing with them. We're horsing around downstairs, and Chase is literally like swinging around my neck, and I pulled my neck like he's just around like a fucking jungle gym, like the monkey bars.
yeah.
And then Michael is literally just like turbo time into my stomach, just like just going crazy right into my gut, and I'm just taking it all. And then next thing I know, Chase flips around and then like coughs and like sneezes directly into my mouth. So that's probably why I'm a little bit under the weather.
Oh,
But
yeah, for sure, bro. Kids are like walking cesspools, man.
oh
For better or
man.
for worse.
Yeah. It's just they're oh man, like their bodies, they already are figuring out like they I feel
Kids
like
are always sick. I just feel
they're
like.
they're always sick, but they still have all the energy, like in their bodies, like they
Oh
have
yeah.
such a good immune system already at that point. But I feel like as you get older and like the more you drink and the more stuff you do, you just start to deteriorate. So I need to just build myself into a better dad shape. Like there's like a dad build. Maybe there's a certain workout routine that I can do that will get me into better shape just to match the energy of the kids, because that's one thing that I learned that like I need to brush up on that game.
Yeah, you gotta learn how to like channel it into like little spurts here and there of
Yeah,
the energy. You don't want to waste it all in
it's
one go.
exhausting. It
Yeah.
really is. So I
Yeah,
need
man.
to I need
You
to
need like child conditioning or
I
something.
know, I know that's exactly it. And just maybe I should start taking Flintstone vitamins. Maybe that's just maybe
Oh
that's the
yeah.
key. Maybe I've been missing out on that, but
Man, those are
um
good.
oh man, so good. Yeah man, it's glad you had a great holidays. It's been a great time. It's been a crazy year. Full of highs and lows within the podcast, outside of the podcast, just a lot of different shit, a lot of stuff going on in our world and the DB2 world and everything else.
We
But
took
it's
like half
been
the year off, man.
took half the year off, but we're
Pretty
back. And
much.
like once we came back, we're hitting the ground running. And just to not just to start off, with our their usual sponsors, and we start off with Crier Media. And you visit crier.co anytime you want, and you're gonna find DB2 and sports related content when you do that, right?
Yeah.
Or like you go to visit our new pals over at Indestructible and use promo code down by 2 for 15% off your next order. I mean, like, hey, that's pretty new, right? And that's an exciting new friendship that we built over the
Yeah.
year, courtesy of you, my man.
Boxing Day sale is on right now too, by the way. So lots of good deals to be had on there.
Giddy up, right? Boxing
Yeah.
Day sale, Boxing Week. And then obviously you can't forget about our homies over at Yup Beer. I mean, you visit yupbeer.com to find a location near you, and they're now available in the beer stores. So check out all the different locations across Ontario. Like those are just OG connections that we've had, and we've been able to build on that over the year and be able to work with them closely on a couple projects and a couple more that are coming up in the new year as well. There's just a lot of exciting stuff. And 2023, I mean, it's been crazy. It's been crazy for the show. It's been crazy in the world of sports. And I want to start off with just kind of recapping some of the highlights throughout the year and some of the crazier things that have stood out. And I want to be able to highlight the NFL just to start off with. And not for nothing, I've become more and more enthralled and just thrown into the mix, and I'm just now restoring the roar over in Detroit, and I'm a fucking Lions fan now. Like, I got my Amon-Ra St. Brown jersey, the sun god himself. I'm fucking all in on this team, and it's crazy because like I started getting into them once the Stafford Goff trade went down, and the Lions finished 2021 2022 with a 3-15 record. That's when I started really getting into them because I was always following my boy Goff, and I like it's just, you could tell that the tides were changing a little bit because even going into last year's season, they figured some stuff out, but they really started catching their stride in the second half of the season, and they end up 9-8, and you're like, oh shit, the culture, everything is changing a bit about this organization, so really look out for them. And then boom, next thing you know, they've clinched the division. So it really is crazy to see that, and like just with Lions fans and how deprived they've been of a good team for all these years, and like not winning a playoff game
Oh
in
man, just been in the basement for years and years,
for
and just
years.
the fandom is as strong as ever. It's
It's
crazy.
But they've stuck it out, man. I mean, we've had the
Yeah,
chance to go check out some games, and it's been incredible. Like down there in Detroit, I wanted to go check out one of the games over the holidays, and you can't get a ticket for less than $250. Like
yeah,
that's that
yeah.
like it is like they are on fire right now, and they're going to be really, really exciting. I think that's one of the greater success stories around the league, just altogether as an organization. I mean, like a lot of people were a bit cautionary with them. You're like, I don't know, it's the Lions. They've fucking done this to us too many times. But here you go. They've clinched their division. It's no competition that they are the best team in the North. So yeah, when it comes to the Lions, you gotta be really happy for them, just as an organization, and to see my boy Jared Goff really take his strides. And a lot of people are just like, yeah, he'll be a bridge quarterback for a couple of years and then they'll find somebody else. But no, they're sticking with them, and he's their guy moving forward, and he's proven to still be a good quarterback even when everyone doubted him in LA. So for me, I mean, that's one of the highlight stories of the year. I know a couple people that we usually have on the pod would definitely agree as well.
Oh yeah.
But it's really great to see the Detroit Lions with what they've done this year. Um, Couple other things that we touched on in 2023, just in the NFL, is that the Kansas City Chiefs edged out the Philadelphia Eagles to win the Super Bowl last
hmm
year or earlier on this year. So for the Super Bowl in 2024, do you think the Chiefs might even run it back? Like, I don't know, because that's also been one of like a lot of the storyline has been taken away from how the Chiefs are playing, and everyone's talking about a Taylor Swift curse.
I was gonna say like
Like
it's
that's a
it's
huge
been
storyline
more.
from this year too.
Well, that was gonna be my NFL edition was
Yeah.
the Taylor Swift takeover, but it almost seems like people that don't follow football, they know the Chiefs now just because of her,
Yeah.
and it's not because of their play or how good they've been over the last few years. You know what I mean? Like,
It's just been Taylor.
and I just feel like lately they've been faltering a little bit, and maybe there's almost too much pressure from all these like added outside influences on the team,
Mhm.
and man, it's gonna be a tough journey for them to repeat. I mean, there's so many other good teams right
Yeah,
now.
man,
It's
like
ridiculous.
Baltimore is
San
looking
Francisco,
great.
man,
Yeah. I
like,
mean, that's what they're saying, is that it's looking like it could be a Baltimore San Fran
and the
Super
Eagles too.
Bowl.
Again, right? Like
Yeah.
they've stumbled a little lately, but they
Yeah.
should be right there in the thick of it.
Yeah. And don't count out the Detroit Lions, the Bills as well
Oh
too.
yeah,
Look like they're making a late season surge. I mean, I
even
don't
your
think
Rams.
even my Rams are making. I mean, like they haven't made it to the playoffs yet, but they're in a good position to
Yeah.
solidify a spot in the wild card. So, I
Oh yeah.
mean, I don't know if we got what it takes, but I mean, if we pull a couple upsets, you never really know. So it's crazy. It really is. The league has been shooken up a bit. Some of the players or some of the teams, like the Chargers were a wild card team last year. The Bengals as well. I mean, those teams are falling off. I mean, there's been a lot of injuries. It's got to be a historic season for injuries across the league.
Oh yeah,
Quarterbacks
the Jets,
especially.
man, fuck that. They were
Oof.
supposed to be
Yeah, dude.
hot this year. It just didn't work out, obviously.
Oh no, man! It's just it's from day one, from the opening week. It's been injury riddled craziness, something that
Yeah.
we haven't seen before. So especially when it comes to quarterbacks. But altogether, I mean, it's been a hell of a year of football, and really excited to see how things shake out when it comes to the new year. Moving along, there's been a few championships that have gone out to some first timers across all leagues. Let's start with the NHL. The Vegas Golden Knights taking home the Stanley Cup for the first time in their very short history. Do they have even a remote chance to do it again this year?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
They're an absolute wagon. They've been a wagon since they've entered the league, man. Like they went
yeah,
to the Stanley Cup final in their first year. So
yeah.
I think from the get go they figured out how to assemble a team of guys that work together, and they've been running with it ever since. And
Oh, hell yeah.
they're going to be in the conversation until I don't know, something changes. I don't know what, but it seems like with Vegas, it's just like, oh, this player isn't working out. Okay, cool, out the door. Here's another guy. Okay, cool, this is working. Oh, this other guy's not working. Cool, out the door. Let's get
Yeah,
another guy. And it's just, dude, it's been that for 6-7 years. There's
yeah,
constant
absolutely.
revolving players coming in and out of town. You know.
It's crazy. I mean, and like to get Eichel and to have the emergence of like Marchessault and then like pad up their goaltending as well. They're all around. They're such a unit, and
Yeah.
it's hard to think that it will go to somebody in the East. I think it's going to go to a Western Conference team because it's like if it's not the Knights, then it could be the Avalanche again. It could be the Canucks making it to the Stanley Cup. I'm just saying, like I would put my money on. I would put my money on a Western Conference team winning as opposed to an Eastern Conference team because, like, really, do the Leafs have what it takes? I mean, like, I know that we're building off of finally making it out of the first round that we did last year or earlier on this year. I keep saying, but in 2023, we broke that long streak of not making it out of the first round. Do the Leafs even stand a chance?
Nah, man. Nah.
No,
The defense is like
it's
it's so
poo.
bad. And the goaltending now, it's just like, what the
All right,
hell is
Martin
going on?
Jones.
Like now the big conversation is this Hild what is his name? They call him the Hildebeest. I forget his name, let me look it up. But this kid that's in the minors,
Oh
um
yeah,
let's
I know
see.
who you're talking about.
Yeah, so he's just like killing it in the minors. And so the fact that the Leafs are already kind of like looking ahead to this guy coming up, like not even necessarily this year, but in the future, it's just like the mindset isn't in the present. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that doesn't mean they're not gonna like go out and get someone at the deadline. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying like overall, like clearly it's not working out, and like they didn't plan for the goalie tandem to be this bad.
Yeah,
Like Sammy was great last year, and he's been so brutal this year. It's been
that's
such a 180. It's so crazy to see.
and then you have catastrophes like the Klingberg signing, and it's just like, ugh,
Oh,
like
dude.
no good. It's yeah, I don't know. It's tough to get behind them this year. I guess there's going to be a bit of figuring out, but like Nylander, that's up in the air.
Dennis
Like
Hildeby is his name. He's a
Hildeby,
20
yeah,
22-year-old Swedish goaltending prospect.
amazing. I mean, let's fucking get him in this week. I don't care. Like we need goaltending. We need it bad. We need D. It hasn't been looking. It's been a lot of fucking this year. A lot of ups and
Oh
downs.
man.
So I mean, yeah,
He's got a 930 save percentage.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I don't think
like
any of our goalies come close to that.
yeah,
So
it's pretty bad.
I'll give the Canucks. I can't believe I'm saying it, but I'll give the Canucks more of a chance to.
Hey, listen, man. This was my preview for last season.
Yeah.
If you recall,
Oh yeah.
uh, this is the team I thought they were gonna be, honestly. And
Yeah.
last year was
And
just a dumpster fire from the get go, and I don't really know what happened there, but dude, they barely changed the team. They changed coaches, and
yeah.
so now they're sick.
Yeah.
It's
That's
funny how
great.
that works.
You love to see it. You love to see it.
Yeah, I'm happy for them. Anyways,
Me
there's no
too.
reason they should have been that bad.
No, I'm happy for them. And like, look, I mean, there's other teams too. Like, there's nobody is particularly playing well, as a Canadian team, except for the Canucks. I mean, like you're looking around and you, I mean, the Oilers have been like all over the place too, and Calgary is no better either. Like it's been, I mean, the Jets have been playing decent hockey, but nobody really gives a shit.
I know.
And then there's Ottawa and Montreal. So yeah, it's it's nice to see Vancouver do well for once.
Yeah,
I'm
agreed.
not I'm not an asshole of a Leafs fan. I like to see other Canadian teams do well, just because I know that the Leafs will always find some way to disappoint. So
Yep,
as long
that's
as
what
it's
they
not
do best.
Montreal, I don't give a shit. So it's all good.
Yeah.
Moving along, the NBA, Denver Nuggets take home their first championship as well, which is great. Nikola Jokic deserves it, even if he doesn't care. He deserves it. They could potentially do it again this year. Who knows?
Yeah.
They're just so built out. Like they remind me a bit of the Knights as well. Like they got their core guys, and they've built quite a wagon of a team.
Well, now people
It's
are saying that they're comparable to the Warriors of 2014, 2015, and how that dynasty began.
mhm.
And they're people are saying that the Nuggets are kind of set up in a similar way. They've got
Yeah.
their core, and they're in their prime, right? And they're built to contend for the next X amount of years. So
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, it's there really wasn't much to go up against in the Eastern Conference last year. I mean, Miami made they squeaked their way into it. They handled the Celtics, they handled the teams that they needed to. But it's just like you knew this was gonna go to Denver going into it. Like look back at our episodes, it was just like
yeah, we were talking
this
about
is
it in like round one.
this is Denver's year.
Yeah.
It is theirs, and it looks like it could be again their year. I mean, there looks like there's been some surprises. I mean, the Minnesota Timberwolves, like, okay,
Woo.
finally figuring
Yeah,
it
we've been
out.
waiting for this, man.
Yeah, and then OKC Thunder, hello, like the West has got some stuff shaken up too.
Yeah.
But then yeah, there's been quite a few surprises to begin the opening half of the season. I mean, yeah, especially when it comes to our Orlando Magic. We're going to be breaking out our new segment, the Magic Minute, coming up next in the new year. So stay tuned. But yeah, there's been some emergences in the Eastern Conference as well, with the Orlando Magic doing well. Indiana Pacers, a new star is born with Tyrese Halliburton. How incredibly he's been
Ooh.
playing. The Raptors, not even going to really touch on them so much.
Nah.
It's
Nah.
it's tough to see them just
We're 3
stuck in
years too late.
purgatory right now.
We're
Yeah.
3 years too late into blowing it up. Like there's nothing to talk about.
Are they though? We were just talking about that, how they don't blow it up. Like
I
that's just
know, that's what
not.
I'm saying. They're saying that they're 3 years too late. They should have done it 3 years ago, but they just
Yeah.
don't, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it is what it is now. So it's like, okay, well, what is there to say? Let's just watch mediocre basketball forever.
Man,
Cool.
I can't wait for the trade deadline, and then we're still gonna have Siakam and OG,
Oh
and
yeah, and then they're
like
just gonna walk in the off season, and it's gonna be like, sweet man, thanks.
just rinse and repeat from the craziness of the offseason last year.
Yeah. Oh, also one of the big stories that might be easily overlooked, just because it happened so early on, was LeBron James passing Kareem to be the all-time leading
Yeah,
scorer.
yeah, that's huge. I have that written down
At
here as well. That's
38
awesome.
years old, and it was 38,000 points, and it was like 38 years after Kareem made the record. It was like all these numbers that just like lined
Yeah,
up perfectly. It was just like,
so
what the
nuts.
hell, dude?
And then
Like,
everyone's just like, "Well, he's going to retire after that." Like, that's amazing. Like, you've
right.
you've you've done what you can. He should be retired, and now he's back again this year playing like vintage LeBron. Like, it's
Yeah. Like, I think if it wasn't for some of these other like top tier talent, like younger players, he would be like, he's like just outside of that MVP conversation to
yeah,
me. Like, he's
exactly.
probably within the like 5 to 10 best player combo
Yeah,
right now.
but you won't find him in the top 10 power rankings.
I know. It's because he's it's almost like he's underrated again or something.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah,
it's just crazy.
he falls in everyone's fantasy drafts. He's going like fourth round now. Like, it's crazy.
Dude, I took him like fourth round and he's ranked like 10th overall. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Sick. I mean, that's just what you're gonna get with him as long as he can stay healthy, and as
He's
long
got
as
the
AD can stay healthy too. I mean, the Lakers. We were saying that too. Without LeBron and AD healthy, they're very mid. So
Yeah, he's got the game time decision tag every single day.
that damn GTD. I
Yeah,
hate it. It's the bane of my existence.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, we're gonna get into a little bit of more ball talk in just a second. But I want to quickly highlight on the MLB, the Rangers taking home the Texas Rangers taking home their
Oh
first
yeah.
World Series in I think it's ever. I think it
Yeah.
was ever.
It
It
was
was
their first. It was their first one. That's correct.
since they became the Texas Rangers,
Yeah.
and from previous leagues, yeah, they were able to get that. So fuck them, I guess. I don't know. Um,
Yeah, they're kind of like low key Blue Jay rivals, eh? Like, just
oh yeah,
because of those matchups.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And so, I mean, good for them. I mean, Marcus Semien used us for a year to get his name back up to get a good contract.
Hey
Really
man,
build.
that was a deal where I thought like, oh, you just shot yourself in the foot. You left the sickest team for a bunch of bums. Like, have fun, and then now look at them. So,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Hey, that's the way it is. So, congratulations to the fucking Rangers. As if Texas sports doesn't win enough, anyways. So,
well,
um, they always like one team. Like, yeah, you had the Spurs dynasty, right? And then uh, you got the Mavericks that won with Dirk as well. And then obviously the Rangers just winning again. I really haven't seen anything from the Stars in a while. And then obviously not a whole lot in the NFL. Hey, maybe this year could be the Cowboys' year. Who knows? They've been reeling as of late, and everyone's now questioning whether or not Dak is an actual MVP. But we're digressing a little bit. Um, the main storyline here, especially within the MLB, is just what the fuck happened with Shohei. And I don't even want to jump into it more than we already have. I
yeah.
still like Ryan, our boy Ryan Harem, is still sending me messages. He's like, "Oh, congratulations on Kevin Kiermaier," and then it's like, "Fuck you, dude. Fuck you." And then he
Hey,
sent he
listen,
sent me the
that's a great signing.
yeah, no,
I'll stand
no,
behind
it
that.
totally is. And then he sent me Kiner Falefa from the Yankees as well. I'm like, shut up, dude. Like, you just went and got Glass now, like as we were recording, and then you got the best prospect in pitching as well from Japan. So it's
Yeah,
just like,
you know what though? The whole like the thing with Yamamoto is like, yeah, he's the best prospect, but man, he hasn't pitched against MLB hitters yet. Like, that's a lot of money to commit to a guy that has not played a game in the MLB yet. That's
yeah,
all. That's all I have to say. That, like, yeah, sick, they got him, but it could turn out to just be a very good, like, he could be a good pitcher,
yeah,
and that's it. And
yeah.
is that worth that amount of money? I don't know.
It's you're absolutely right. I mean, it is a lot, but it's the Dodgers, and what they've actually done now is that they've just created like the best show in baseball. And like, there's no other team that can really do that other than the Yankees, right? And they've just put
Hmm.
together this insane squad of like it's the monsters of baseball. Like
Yeah,
it's
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 true.
crazy, and like they're not
Yeah.
gonna stop. They're still gonna make moves. Like, who
For
knows?
sure.
They might just bring Bellinger back just for the fuck of it. Like, it's craziness with what they're doing, but they're putting on a hell of a show. They're going to put on a hell of a show, and it's if it wasn't LA, it was going to be the Yankees, and I'd rather see that happen in LA as opposed to the fucking Yankees. So there you go. Shohei is a Dodger, and Blue Jay fans are now still wondering where the hell we're headed, just like when it comes to the majority of our fucking teams. So,
Yeah.
that being said, though, big year when it comes to the podcast, big year for the network as well. It all started with the Honda Indy when we went and did it with the crew, which is an incredible experience, and then making our way into the CFL courtesy of Griff, and doing a lot of Argos coverage. Did the Grey Cup as well, but then big things that are heading into the new year. Super excited for our coverage with the Orlando Magic that's coming up, our coverage with the Vancouver Canadians as well, which we'll be able to get into a bit more as well, coming up in the new year. Some exciting stuff coming in for that. And then our coverage with the Raptors 905. So while we're here in Toronto, we get to talk with the Raptors 905 squad and the coaches, and do media coverage for them and give you inside exclusive looks at the squad and, players that are heading up and down. Like, we had the opportunity to cover Grady Dick when he was with the squad, and Marquise Noel, who's a two-way player, Freeman Liberty as well. I could see him obviously making the leap.
He got called up a couple weeks. I think it was actually a couple days after we covered them last. He got called up, so good for him, man. He had an outstanding game that when we saw him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we are actually we're going to be segueing into our coverage for the Raptors 905 as we are covering the final game of the calendar year in 2023. Here's something I'm not sure if you knew, but the Raptors 905 are first place right now because the regular season has just started.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know the way that the regular season or the season plays out for the G League, is that they have something called the Showcase Cup. And there's like the showcase, like it's almost like the in-season tournament almost with the NBA. They do something like that to start off the season. So the 905 played 16 games. Everyone played 16 games to start off the season. And they ended up going 4-12. So they weren't a part of the Showcase Cup. And that's sort of like they have different groups of teams that make it in. It doesn't count towards the regular season though, because as of this week, the regular season just started, and they took their first
slate. Let's go.
It's a fresh slate right now. They just beat the Knicks G League team earlier this week, and they're going to be facing the Capital City Go-Go's as well. But we are actually going to be doing coverage over for the Wisconsin Herd as they play their first home game of the regular season. So a lot of great conversations that we're going to be able to have with the players. A lot of great stuff that's coming up down the horizon as well when it comes to that. So is there anything that you're looking forward to when it comes to our first experience covering the games down in Mississaga?
Yeah, I want to see who. First of all, I haven't really brushed up on my homework since we were there last, so I'm curious to see who kind of the leader on the floor is now. With Dick is obviously he's still on the bench right now with the Raptors, and Freeman Liberty looks like he's still on the bench right now with the Raptors. Granted, they're not getting too many minutes, so it is what it is. But I'm curious to see who's going to be like the primary ball handler for these guys now that those two have been called up, right? And who's going to initiate the offense? Who's going to be the leader on the floor? Things like that. So I'm excited to see some of our prospects step up a little bit and show us what they got.
Absolutely. So this is this is going to be a great sort of sneak peek into what we're going to be doing with our coverage with the Orlando Magic as well. So we're going to transition right now over to that when it comes to our coverage that we did with the Raptors 905 against the Wisconsin Herd for their first home game in Mississauga. So here it is. Check it out.
We're live here in Sauga City at Paramount Center where the Raptors 905 are taking on the Wisconsin Herd, looking for a big bounce back performance after getting blown out against the Capital City Go-Go on the road, 143-109.
Yikes.
Birdman, giving up 143 points. What does that tell you?
They need to improve their perimeter shooting.
Big time.
And lockdown defense, man. Tighten it up.
They definitely need to tighten up their perimeter defense as well, close out on shooters. We're going to see if they're going to be able to bounce back today and get a good performance from Kobe Simmons as he's been facilitating the ball really well. We'll catch you guys after the game.
What do you think? The turnovers we make and the mistake we make in the last 3 minutes?
Yeah, we cut it to 5 down the stretch. Felt like the momentum was with us. They hit a big shot after that. I don't know if it's necessarily the turnovers. We won the turnover battle. We won the offensive rebounding battle. We have to get up more shots than them. We just unfortunately couldn't knock down a couple looks that we normally make. One of those things kind of thing, but it'll swing around.
You're talking about how you had a good game on the board, but it seemed like where the Herd were taking advantage and scoring a lot of their points, these at the beginning of the game were from 3. How did you guys adjust from that first quarter where they shot 60% from 3?
Yeah, they're really good in the paint with Gabriel and Bolden, so we had to take care of the paint. That was sometimes open up 3-point shots. It came down back to earth a little bit in the second half. They finished at 35%. I don't know if it was necessarily the defense today. When we hold a team to 104, we should be winning most games.
Can you talk a little bit about the challenges you mentioned, Gabriel, that he posed to your team?
Yeah, he did a great job on both ends. Foul trouble took him out of the game for a little bit, but he was patrolling the paint defensively, and then he was so active, both on the offensive glass and just on his cuts and stampedes and in transition. He sprints so well to get downhill, get behind the defense. So, really good player. I mean, there's a reason he's been in the NBA so much.
And Mo had a good two-way game, at least in my opinion today. Got a couple of steals, was flying around, blocking some shots. What do you think of Mo's game?
Yeah, every game he's getting steals and blocks. He plays with so much force. Runs well. He makes himself available in the paint. Like you said, I think he had a really good game.
Hey, Coach, the team seems more aggressive under the paint and more solid defensively. What kind of adjustment did you make in the last, let's say, 10 games?
A lot of it's we've been finally able to practice with a more consistent group. So we're able to implement a few more things as opposed to just having guys cycling in and out the entire time. So that's probably been the biggest help.
Any wishes for the new year? It's in 2 days.
Yeah, let's go on a nice little healthy stretch, get everyone back, and go on a roll.
Great game from Justice as well. How important is it to have him back in the lineup and healthy?
Yeah, he's been like a positive every time he's out on the court. He impacts the game on both ends. He communicates super well. He kind of leads the charge defensively, kind of getting everybody in their spots. So great to have him, yeah.
Okay, thanks, Eric.
There you have it, some words from Coach Coury as the Raptors 905 fall to the Wisconsin Herd 104-94, capping off the last game of the 2023 calendar year. Any takeaways from the game before we wrap up this episode?
Just seemed like some of the guys maybe weren't in sync. I think, like he said, having a lot more time with this group of players playing together, getting the reps in, I think it's gonna do good things for them and string some wins together. Honestly, like just some broken plays, foul trouble, things like that,
turnovers as well.
Turnovers.
Late in the game, they kept it close within striking distance, and then at the end, just really couldn't pull it all together. We'll be doing a lot more coverage on the Raptors 905, a lot more coverage on the Raptors as well when it comes to a lot of the trade watches. When it comes to whether or not Pascal Siakam is going to be on the block, or if they're going to extend them, it's really up in the air at this point. But things are in motion now after that OG ANUNOBY trade to the New York Knicks. Going to be covering a lot of Raptors, going to be covering a lot of Orlando Magic in the 2024 season, 2024 year as well. It's a good precursor to what is to come for us.
Absolutely. Very, very excited to bring some new content.
Absolutely. It's been a hell of a year. Lots of ups, couple downs, but all around it's been a pleasure working with you, my man.
Hey.
over this year, lots of new heights that we're reaching. What are some of the things that you're most excited for heading into the new year?
Man, more growth with the podcast. Ever since it went down to us two. It's been a hell of a ride, man. I've been forced into the spotlight a little bit, pushed out of my comfort zone.
Oh,
so
buddy, you've been killing
really
it, man.
Good for me.
It's been great.
Obviously, getting to do it with my best friend is the cherry on top.
Oh, buddy, love you, man. I love you. This is it's been a hell of a ride. There is a lot more growth to come around the corner. There's a lot of new things that are coming up in the new season as well. I mean, we're going to be expanding our coverage to some baseball as well. We're going to be going down to the Canadian Open as well. A lot of fun things that are in store for 2024, and can't wait to be doing it with you, my man. But for Josh Elijah,
Jesse
McKay, and everyone at Crier Media and Down by Two, wishing you happy holidays and a happy new year as well. See you in 2024. Peace.